All right, good afternoon, everyone. So, students, make sure that you have completed your focus. We talked about each of these tax, discount, and tip pieces yesterday. I just want to make sure that we're staying up with that. Make sure that you have taken your paper once you've defined as well as answered this question, and you have put it in the designated folder on my desk. All right. We are going to keep moving today. Still continuing to talk about discount, taxes, and working on tipping as well. So we're continuing in the SOL 8.4. The student will solve practical problems involving consumer applications. Please don't freak out. This is just you learning about money, right? Consumer applications, learning to use money. What our goals are for today and moving forward. We're going to solve problems with 80% accuracy involving percent and reconciling an account balance, as well as we are going to understand money and use this information to balance a checkbook with 85% accuracy. Okay? Looking for you to get really good with this because I want to make sure you're successful going forward and you're successfully able to pay your bills and those kind of things, okay? So this is really, really important everyday things. All right, up here on the board, let's briefly touch on these. Your Slurpee, 99 cents. Why is it not actually 99 cents? It's because of the sales tax, right? What are we doing with sales tax? Do we add it or do we subtract it? Yes, thank you. We would add this to our cost of, so the 99 cents, you would add to that whatever percentage your sales tax is, like we talked about yesterday. That could be different depending on your locality. It could be different in a different state, depending on what you're buying, food versus luxury items. Okay, so there's different sales taxes. Tips. We talked a little bit yesterday about tipping, those that we need to tip. We also talked a little bit about how much to tip. And that's one of those things it varies by person to person, really and truly. It varies home to home. So I completely understand where there are some differences in tip in this classroom. We are going to follow the guidelines that are given to us in the word problems that we see. Okay? Just keep that in mind. All right, and this word discount. What are we doing when we discount something? We are taking away, right? We are subtracting. Okay? So please remember when you're talking about sales tax as well as tipping, you are adding money. That is additional on top of that original amount. For discount, you're taking away. This is a percentage you're going to take off of it. Okay? Nice job, guys. Nice job. All right. Let's briefly look at a couple of these before we jump into our worksheets and into our groups. So, Bobby wants to buy a bike, but does not know if he has enough money. If the price of the bike is $85 and the sales tax is 6%, what will the total cost of the bike be? Okay, so a couple of things I want you to notice. The bike is $85, okay? If it's $85, what are we doing with the tax? Do we add the tax? Do we take it away? What is going on when we talk about taxes? You are absolutely right. We are adding, okay? So, what we need to figure out is how much this sales tax is. We need to add it to that 85 so that we can get that total cost of the bike, okay? So, if we flip over to Desmos, we know that our bike is $85. We know that the percentage is 6%. So when we pull up Desmos, and everybody has access to this on your computer, you can go into Canvas, and I have a link to Desmos there in Canvas on the home page. So 6% of, what are we taking 6% of? Exactly. We are taking 6% of this 85, right? So 6% of 85 gives us 5.1. Now, we're talking about dollars, so this needs to be $5.10. You would add a 0 behind that. So let me flip back over here to this. I'm going to put this in a different color. So 85 all right, plus, and what are we adding to this? Do you remember from Desmos? Yes, it is that $5.10. Absolutely. So, oh, I erased that. There we go. All right. So, we can straight add this up. We can also plug it into Desmos if you struggle with that. Either way is fine. Okay. So now we end up with, we've got 5 plus 5, which equals 10. We're going to carry that 1 over there, which gives us $90.10. And if I go here and I put in 85 plus that answer, it also gives us $90.10. So that way you see that in both cases it does equal that same thing. Okay, let's go to the next one. And can I get a volunteer to come up here and help me? Because I want you to write all of this up. All right, so at this point in the lesson, I would have a student come up and help me to figure out the tip and how much they would pay all together for this question, as well as we would move to the second, and I would have another volunteer to come up and stand in front of the classroom and tell us how much this TV was discounted down, what that discounted price would be. Okay, so I have my students help me to teach their peers, and I feel like sometimes that helps them to grasp things a little bit better because it is a peer teaching them. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to have you all do a restaurant activity. And so I've already passed out the worksheets to you. So let me pull it up real quick here. All right. So the restaurant activity, you have the worksheet in front of you. We are virtually going to visit our restaurant. All right, so we have 4 restaurants that you can choose from. We've got Olive Garden, Red Robin, Outback, and Cheddar's. Now, you choose one restaurant to go to, okay? You will then decide, you're going to purchase a 3-course meal. So you're going to decide what appetizer, entree, and dessert you want, okay? So you'll see, here's your 4 restaurants. Appetizer, you also need a drink as well. So you can do water, which costs nothing, or you can choose a soda. Your entree, your main meal, okay? And then your dessert. So remember, your appetizer is your starter. That's what you begin with. Your entree is going to be that main meal, and then dessert, we all know what dessert is, right? That's your sweet. All right. So I need you to highlight or circle which restaurant you're going to. I need you to write the item that you are choosing, and I need you to find the price. So that means you need to get out your computers, you need to go to their websites, and you need to look at the menu. Okay? Once you have done those items, you are going to add these 4 costs up for your subtotal. Now, you've come to the restaurant. You have a coupon for 10% off. So, after you have your subtotal, how much is your discount? How much do you get off if you have the 10%? Then, you need to figure out, after that discount, how much is your tax. Here, we're doing 5%. And then how much is your tip if you leave a 20% tip? What will that total end up being? And taken right in a couple of sentences. Whoops. Why do you think it's important to learn about these taxes, discounts, and tips? So this is very similar to what you all just did on your focus. But now that we've taken a little closer look, do you have a more in-depth look at things? Okay, so while you guys are working on that, I'm going to be taking a minute to walk around and talk with each of you. All right, so everybody has completed that task. As I was coming around, I placed numbers on your desks. We are going into our group activity, okay? So, do you like to spend money? Everybody's got a copy of this on your desk. You are going to work with your group, okay? You got a number 1 through 7, and I'll have each of you get up and get into your groups, and that way you guys can work on this together. You're going to be going to your favorite store, buying certain items. You have discounts, sales prices, all of those. You're going to figure out how much you're spending there. You're going to go and visit your local salon or your barber shop. You're going to get what this says here. You decide to get a shampoo and a cut and how much that's going to cost. Then you're going to end up at a restaurant. So just like the one we just did, you're going to go to a restaurant. These are the items you're going to order. You're going to leave a 40% tip here. So you need to figure out how much your meal costs plus that tip. And the last thing, we're going to work on a credit card statement. Okay? You've gotten your credit card statement. You need to check that statement and make sure that what you've spent above is what is showing up down here. You have to make sure that things check out, that they balance, and then we're going to be talking about what your balance is after you have done that shopping. As well as there is a question: which transaction was charged wrong? So one of these transactions is wrong and you have to figure it out, okay? So, and these things happen. This is everyday life right here. You charge, and then sometimes something happens. It gets entered wrong. So make sure that you get up and get with your groups, and that way you all can work together. Make sure that if you have a question, you have asked each of the members of your group before you raise your hand to ask me, okay? Because I want you guys to work on this together, okay? All right. So at this point in time, they are able to work with their groups, thinking collectively, learning how to use their strengths and their weaknesses to help each other and to hopefully learn from each other. I did strategically group them so that the higher levels are mixed with those of a lower level so that they can teach each other, and hopefully that will raise the performance of everybody within the class. Now, I know that looking over the students and their IEPs, 3 of the students had math calculation. I would make sure that those students had access, of course, to Desmos while we were in the classroom, as well as in the testing environment. As well as there was a student who had just reading comprehension. And although that won't mess with that will not affect him in the math calculation, it might affect him with these word problems because he may not be able to comprehend what is being asked of him to do in these situations. So I took that into account as well when I was grouping those students. Thank you so much.